question is that the motion moved by the member for Isaacs be agreed to. The Deputy Prime Minister.
Well, Mr Speaker, I thank the honourable member for his statement, and I'm only too happy to reply to this. It is obviously that most people, and I don't think I'm unique in this, have been through a marriage breakup.
Deputy Prime Minister will pause. The member for Lindsay will cease interjecting. I'm going to make it perfectly clear. Both the member for Isaacs and the member for McMahon will listen to without interjection. The Deputy Prime Minister is entitled to address the House in the same manner. I will deal very quickly with those who are seeking to disrupt the House. The Deputy Prime Minister has the call.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. And of course, most people would realise at the time of a marriage breakup it is not unusual for those who you are close to offer support. I do pay for a house. I pay for one in Tamworth. I pay for one in Tamworth for Natalie and the girls, and I continue to do that and will continue to do that. So the issue that I don't pay for a house in the electorate is not correct. Not for one moment do I suggest that, that this situation for my family is anything but incredibly difficult, and as I've said before, I apologise for that. Now, to go through the chronology of this, after it became apparent that with the deliberations of the High Court that I was no longer a Member of Parliament and had to stand, I went through the process of being endorsed, and it was at that time that Mr Maguire approached me, as did many other friends, approached me to offer support. At the time, in the discussions, he said, "You're living out of a suitcase, and this is basically, this is something that I should try and help you with." I took him up on the offer, but I offered to pay for it. He said, basically, mates don't pay for things when they're helping other mates out, and that's precisely what happened. His daughter had just moved out of the apartment, and it's not. People say it's a luxury apartment. It's not. It's an apartment in Armidale. She had moved out. He said it's free. There's no one using it, and you're welcome to use it to basically get back up on your feet. Might I remind the House at that point in time I was not a Member of Parliament. It was merely basically a person who was standing for election, and therefore at that point in time, even though I was not bound by the Ministerial Code of Conduct because I was not a minister, nonetheless, it's quite clear that I did not approach Mr Maguire for assistance. Mr Maguire approached me and offered help. After the election, I disclosed on my members' interests that I was living in Armidale in a house that had been provided to me. I believe that I did everything that I believed was fully transparent. In fact, at the time, they said because it's from a personal friend, that you're not obliged to declare it. In that advice, I said I want to declare it because I want to be fully transparent on this issue. Now, I might also say that it's that this circumstance, my personal circumstances, have been uphill, down dale in this last week. I acknowledge that, I accept that, and that is the price of a political life. I might also state that on issues such as this, in this place, that it is without a shadow of a doubt that if we start throwing stones, then every person is going to start having some questions asked of them, and that of course might be the process. That might be the process of the Parliament as to exactly how that works. But if in due course, like most people, I don't think this is unusual. In a marriage breakup, things will no doubt settle down. I will look forward to making sure that I find another house. I think that any person watching this would, many of them, noting that unfortunately about 40 to 50% of marriages break down, so this is not something that is completely out of the ballpark. So I state once more, I did not approach Mr Maguire for any help. I did not approach him. What I can also state is that he made the approach to me when I was not a minister. I was not a member of parliament. What I can also state is that I offered to pay for it. But I can also state that he said that basically he said as a friend he would not take any money, that he was quite happy to help me for that period of time. I don't think I can be more succinct than that.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. All those of that opinion say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. I think the noes have it. Division required? Division required? That's right. You ring the bells for 4 minutes.